start making money, we're gonna have to shut this thing down. We are seriously blocked right now by YouTube. Roll the intro.
Hey, that's me. I'm trying to build a $10 million startup from scratch. The catch? I've got no business experience. I'm just a back-end coder with a full-time job, a YouTube channel I'm barely keeping up with, and a wedding to plan. Most people would say this is impossible. Honestly, I kind of agree, but that's the point. I'm documenting everything. Building, launching, growing, learning. The wins, the screw-ups, and probably a ton of failures. And here's the rule. I don't stop until I hit 10 million, no matter how long it takes. Could be 100 episodes, could be 1,000. So if you ever thought about chasing a crazy idea but never started, follow along. You'll either watch me crash and burn or somehow pull this off.
Yo! If you're new here, let me give you a quick run through of what my startup idea is. If you've already watched the first video, you'll be able to see all the product updates I've made over the past few weeks. I'm gonna put you guys to the test right here. I'm gonna show you my landing page for a few seconds. Let me know if you know what's going on within those few seconds. If not, drop it down in the comments. Only show the hero section, which is just like the first page. All right, that's all you get. Let me know down in the comments if that was clear what my product is. If not, then I need to improve my landing page. So if you weren't able to pull it out from the first few seconds, the product is a tool for YouTube creators to help them improve on their content. So one of the main features is being able to analyze their videos given their retention data. Here was the feature I was just talking about, so you can see all the retention curves and then you can analyze your video within like 2 clicks. Another main feature is that you can choose to share your data publicly. And if you do, you can see other creators' data. The use case for this is like if you're a new creator, you just want to see like how other people's intros are performing, like their content style is doing. You can look into their videos and see how viewers are like reacting and how much they're watching their video, where they drop off, stuff like that. So it has like the same feature where you can click into a channel and then get some analysis on, you know, where viewers dropped off or stayed. Then we have market research. So when you log in for the first time, we have this process that'll figure out what channels are in your niche. So once we generate that, you can generate video ideas. So we'll take all the videos in your niche with like an outlier score and then your videos with a summary, and then we'll generate curated video ideas. Another thing we have is just like some other tools so you can analyze your packaging. Packaging is essentially your video thumbnail, your title, and then your intro. These are the 3 biggest components of a video and how it's going to perform. So you can plug in all 3 of those into this tool and it'll give you some feedback on that. We have some other tools too, like getting feedback on shorts, and then another feature I'm working on right now. So the main focus between now and the last update I did, which was about 3 weeks ago at this point, is just making the site way easier to use. I'll throw up a comparison to see what the site looked like before. Within each feature, we have like a way to customize your prompt that you use on how to like get feedback or whatever. So that was like the default before, but now you can see, like, for example, we just have like a simple flow where you just have to click a button and it'll do everything for you behind the scenes, but you can also go in and toggle the advanced tab and like pick a prompt you want to use to get specific feedback. So that's been one of the main things. Another thing is just making the UI consistent so it doesn't look vibe coded. So as you can see, like all tabs pretty much look the same now. The site's called 10xcreator.dev. You should check it out. All the features I just showed are free to use.
Let's take a look at the good old spreadsheet and see how many weeks left we have to survive. So I'm giving myself a $1,000 bankroll to start with. We could probably start with more, but there's really no reason not to. I have no clue what I'm doing. So when the funds run dry, we're out. So I started this startup in August. I'll quickly run through some of the expenses I've had. So we have AWS dev and prod. It's been a few bucks a month, nothing really too crazy. I bought a domain on Cloudflare. I think it was on Cloudflare. And it's like $1 a month. And then I pay for Cursor, which is the $20 plan. I just bought Claude, also the $20 plan. I've also been paying someone to create me shorts, so I'll end up just filming some content and then sending it over to get it edited. This has been a huge expense so far, $135. My thought behind this was It takes me like an hour, maybe like 45 minutes to an hour to edit a short. So if I can get a short edited for like $20, is my hourly worth $20? I think it is in the long run, but when we only have $1,000 budget, I think I kind of regret doing this because this is like 13% of our entire budget, especially when we have no income coming in. And then another stupid decision I did was sign up for Google Ads just to test it out. So I ended up spending $16 on ads, and I don't think I got a single sign up from that. I'll discuss more about Google Ads later. Lastly, I spent $30 on a website where you can market your launch. Also, in hindsight, probably doesn't make much sense. And the reason I was doing this is because I wanted my website to get more highly ranked on Google search. And the way that the algorithm works is if you have more links to your page, your site's like more trustworthy and more likely that people will click on it. So you tend to get ranked higher. I don't think this website I use has much credibility. So it's like my website's not getting ranked that highly. And plus it's only one link. Lastly, let's get into the income. And it's quick because there's no income yet. I don't have any paying users. This month, which it's December, I'm down to $703, and my runway is 66 weeks. And runway is just how many weeks you have until your startup goes bankrupt. The way I'm calculating this is just take your current bankroll and then get an average of your last couple months of spending and figure out how many weeks you have left. The thing is though, if we factor in the expenses from this month, we're already down to 33 weeks. So our runway got cut in half. So we'll have to take a look at our expenses and see which ones are actually worth it or not.
If we don't start making money, we're going to have to shut this thing down. But this leads nicely into how I'm actually planning on making money. So let me go through my strategy. I'm trying to learn as much as possible, and it's mainly from YouTube content, other creators making videos, just realizing how important a tight feedback loop is, just so you can make quicker pivots and stuff like that. That's why if you're watching, I'd appreciate feedback. And in this stage of AI, I feel like marketing is really what's going to differentiate startups. Like everyone can put together some product in a quick amount of time, so it's really how you get this product out. That's why at the end of my last video, I said I'm going to focus more on marketing. Essentially, I was going about the whole process wrong, and I'll show you guys what I mean. So here's kind of my thought process, or what it used to be. So I had some idea. I would just code a bunch of features, keep adding features, and then have one big launch day. And you just expect a bunch of users to use your website, but literally nothing happens, it's just crickets. You don't really know if there's product market fit. So the optimal thing to do is to follow this path. So you're going to have parallel tracks. So that could be building the product, marketing, talking to users. And you want all these happening simultaneously. So you'll start by building out a simple MVP. You'll try and get a feedback loop, talk to users, get feedback, iterate on the product, add features they wanted. Just keep that loop up and keep having these mini launches. So every time you keep adding features to new launch. So this allows you to actually know there's market fit for your product and just not get stuck in like building hell, even though that is the fun part. I'll discuss more on my marketing strategy, but something that clicked with me when I was watching a YouTube video, it seems so simple, but I never really thought of it. So you have this like funnel of how you can acquire a customer. So first you're gonna have marketing. So that's like creating short form content, blog posts, ads, this video, anything like that. So this is gonna be the top part of your funnel, all the people that watch this. And then you wanna, as you go down the funnel, you get down to your landing page. So this is like you watch this video, you click on my link, you're now on the landing page. So that's one step of the funnel you made it through. And at your landing page, you want to have good conversion. You want to make sure it's easy to see what your product does to get the user down to the next part of the funnel, which is actually product value. So once they sign up, your product actually has to be useful. And of all the people that find your product useful, only a percentage of those are going to pay for the product. But the thing I learned was I was creating shorts to get someone from the marketing step all the way to the paid step, But really all you should be trying to do is go from marketing to the landing page. So how can you create a short in a way that just gets people to go to your page instead of like thinking about how can I create this video to get someone to sign up for my app? I don't know. It seems so simple in retrospect, but it kind of clicked for me when I was watching that video. I wanted to share it. Let me quickly go through how I'm marketing this product. And there's one major blocker I'll talk about later in the video, but here's my plan once we get past that blocker. So I'm still working on new features. Like since the last video, I've probably created a couple new features. But while I'm doing that, I'm also creating blog posts about every new feature. Here are the few of the posts I've made. So for example, I added a feature of how you can analyze your YouTube packaging. So in this blog, I went through how it works. And then I basically, plug the website at the end saying we do all this for you. But the reason this is good is for search engine optimization. So you want a bunch of links linking to your website, and these blogs can draw additional traffic that'll increase your ranking in Google search. Also, for every feature, I've been creating shorts. I've only created a few so far, but I'm gonna hammer out a bunch. I got 5 shorts right now cooking up in the crock pot that I'm gonna post once I get past this blocker. But I'll show you guys the stats from each method. And I also wanna show you guys Google Ads and kind of what I learned. So what you're looking at here is the Google Ads dashboard. I was running this campaign and it cost me $17.30. I was only running it for like 2 weeks, and you can see CPCs are cost per click. So it was costing me $1.15 per click, which is absurd. It's totally not worth it when you're starting out. The only useful information I got out of this is like what people are searching. So it gives you the breakdown of essentially the search term and like how many impressions your ad got and what was like your click-through rate and stuff like that. But if you look at where my ads were shown, I targeted only computers because that's where I envision most users using this product. And then I kind of blundered here. I think I set up my campaign wrong, but you can see like the majority of my impressions are on YouTube, and you can see the click-through rate on this is like 4 engagements out of 414, whereas like Google search was 4 clicks over 48 impressions. So the click-through rate's just way better. But you can see the cost is $7. So literally $7 for 4 clicks to my landing page. And you can think about the conversion of a landing page. I don't know what a good one is. Probably like around 50%. Like I would basically be paying $3.50 for someone to sign up, which is totally not worth it. But yeah, if you know anything more about Google Ads, or if there's something I should be doing, let me know down in the comments. Let me show you guys all my analytics too for all the shorts I've created. As you can see here on YouTube, none of them have popped off. My top one got 1.5K views, but one that I actually spent some time doing got 1,000 views and a couple likes. Here are my TikTok analytics. My videos have done a lot worse on here, so the top one got 127 views and only one video got a like. But I'm also posting reels on Instagram, and once I create a short, I just post it on all of them. In hindsight, creating these shorts has not been worth it, but I'll explain why later in the video. There's 2 more things I wanted to show. One is the Google Analytics dashboard. You can add some instrumentation for Google Analytics to your front end. You can see how many people are visiting your site every day. So if you look at this one, we've had 175 active users. This is when the first video went out, so we had an influx of users. And then, I don't know what this spike is. Maybe it's one of my blog posts or something like that. But it's kind of cool to look at. The other one is the Google Search Console. So this is where you can see how your page is doing in Google search. As you can see, mine is doing pretty poorly. Over the last, month and a half, I've had 5 clicks, 100 impressions, but you can see we're starting to get the right trajectory here. And I think this is because I keep posting blog posts, so those help my ranking. There's honestly so many AI coding tools now. I wanted to take you guys through what my current workflow is. So I just pulled up this list of all the AI coding tools. Someone curated a list on GitHub, but just look at all these. And new ones keep getting released every week too. I think you can end up spending a lot of time on trying out these new tools, but honestly, I don't really think the bang for your buck is there. So I try not to overcomplicate my workflow. I've been sticking mainly to Cursor, Anti-Gravity, and Claude Code. I pay for the $20 Pro plan on Cursor and Claude. honestly, for how much I code, which is maybe like an hour or two a day after the typical 9 to 5 workday, I don't run into too many limits. And since I'm switching between 3 different tools and they all have separate limits, I never really hit my end limit at each month. My favorite tool for sure is Cursor. I feel like it's so good now at indexing your code base and just making fast changes. Whereas I feel like, I don't know, I might be using Claude wrong because I just started using it, but it seems to be way slower at making changes. And also, I don't like how you can't review your code that well. I personally like to review every line of code it puts out, just so I know what it's actually doing and make sure there's no like edge cases or bugs slipping through. But I've also just started using anti-gravity. It got released maybe a month ago, but they give you free credits for Gemini and Claude. And a cheat code is if you run out of credits with one Google account, you can just sign into your other Google accounts and get your credits refreshed. So I've been manually switching between like 3 or 4 Google accounts. I've also tried using Claude and this app called Happy on my phone to ship some features. I'll throw it up on the screen. But again, similar to how I'm not a huge fan of like Claude Code, it's really hard, especially on your phone, to review the code it's outputting. It might be doable with a tablet, but phone is like way too small. I think that could be like a cool use case if you're, I don't know, going somewhere and you just want to ship like a small feature and don't have access to like a desktop or anything. But I haven't really found too many use cases for that. With Claude, I've also tried building out like a command workflow with agents. So essentially we have a bunch of agents that can locate stuff in our code base and like analyze what's going on. And then I'll have like a system where I can create tickets of like features I want to implement. And then it'll take that information and then look through my code base and see all the changes it needs to make. And then I have these commands where it can turn that into a plan. Or rather, like the command uses the agents to create the plan. And then I have all these other commands here to like, once you've created a plan, you can implement the plan or iterate on the plan. I've tried this a little bit the past couple weeks, but I don't really think the juice is worth the squeeze on this one. Like it eats up a ton of your tokens. Honestly, like Opus 4.5 is so good, you don't even need a plan for the most part. So you end up just wasting that time while it's cooking that plan. And it's some like super elaborate plan. So it probably ends up depending on like how big of a feature you want to implement. I ended up doing this because I saw a video on YouTube of some guy who's making like an IDE built around this. So I ended up just stealing his markdown files and trying it out. But yeah, I don't think I'll keep using this for now. But yeah, let me show you guys about implementing an actual feature on my website. What you're looking at here is the local version of 10x Creator. The feature we're going to add is a tool to get feedback on your shorts before you upload them. So basic requirements is you should be able to upload your video and then basically just click the button to get analysis because there's not too much to it. So the main complexity with this feature is actually already handled, and that is how do we store these ephemeral assets. So your user will go in and upload their short, but we don't want to keep that short around for, I don't know, more than like 30 minutes, let's say, because all we're doing is uploading that to Gemini so it can do some analysis on it. And then after that, we're just deleting the file. So what we do is we have a life cycle on our S3 bucket, and we can essentially just set like a TTL, which is like a time to live on this asset. So we'll upload it to that S3 bucket. Then we'll upload it to Gemini, delete it, or get the analysis from Gemini, delete it from Gemini, and then the lifecycle policy will delete it from S3. So we're just storing these assets for a short period of time. That way we don't get charged on this, and we have like just a S3 bucket that keeps growing as people use the website. Now that that's already handled though, this feature should be fairly simple. What you're seeing here is anti-gravity, which is Google's new IDE, and I was talking about that earlier. Don't tell Google, but I actually just had to log into my 4th Gmail account here. Like I was saying before, you get access to all these models down here. So Gemini 3, Claude Sonnet 4.5, and then Claude Opus 4.5. I mean, Claude Opus 4.5 is just way better than anything else. Gemini 3 is not too bad when you're using it in this IDE, but if you use it in Cursor, it's pretty bad. This feature is simple enough, so I'm going to give it some basic requirements and see what it can do. So I just wrote a couple sentences here giving it some background and some requirements on what we want to implement. One thing that I found really annoying is just when it implements these new features, it just comes up with a new UI like concept or I guess styling every time, which is so annoying because that's like the most obvious way to find or like to determine a website's vibe coded is just every single page has like a different styling and all that. So I told it to just keep the UI consistent with what we had for the other tools. So hopefully it's smart enough to just look at the styling we had there and what components we were using and reuse everything, but we'll see. Since I'm in plan mode, anti-gravity just creates a short little implementation plan here. So always take the time to review these plans, because if you don't and you just go and say implement it without looking at it, there's usually something small that's off, and it's really annoying to like find that in the code review, and then you've just figured out you've wasted a lot of your tokens. So make sure your plan's right up front. And it's no surprise it found what I was looking for because I gave it context. But yeah, we use pre-signed URLs to upload these to our S3 bucket, and it's using some existing APIs we have, which is good. Let's take a look how it did. This is exactly 6 minutes after it started. All right, cool. Looks like it's in the right spot, and then nice. So looks like the styling's the same. You can upload a short form video. So I uploaded a video I actually made today, and you can see that since it's a vertical resolution, it shows up a little weird here. So we'll want to fix that. But let's see, let's get some feedback. It created just a generic prompt here, but it actually looked solid. So while we're waiting, I'm going to tell it to fix the vertical issue. Yo, man, they're actually grilling me. Fix the lighting. The lighting was actually trash in that one. And then it's saying I had a section where some data was hard to see. I could see that. And then it's telling me to adjust some of my audio. But that's actually wild. Like, I mean, we already have like a template of like how we built a tool, but I started this at 125 and now it's 133. So I just added, I mean, it's a simple feature for the website, but to think you can add that in 8 minutes is just insane. So now let's see if it fixed this upload issue. Kinda. I'd rather have it display the whole video vertically though. This looks kind of weird. I mean, sometimes you just need to feed a picture in because the AI can only look at your styling, so they don't really have a good idea. But I went in and adjusted some small things, just like some text on this page, but nothing too crazy. Also, I want to see what the price is for this. So I used Gemini 3 Pro. So if I take a look, this was 1 penny to analyze your short, which is so worth it. All right, I think this is better. Now you can see the full screen vertically. There is some space on the side, but I don't think it's like a huge issue. So now what I'm going to do, and I can't stress this enough, you want to actually go through and review all the code it changed. So I'm going to take a few minutes to do that. But after I review and if everything looks good, I'm going to merge this in, and we just added a new feature. So if this is something you'd use, definitely check out the website. It's free. I guess while we're here, I'll show off another feature of the website. As you saw, it generated us a base prompt for how to evaluate the shorts. But users can go in and save their own prompts here. And then what they can do is, or at least what I find myself doing a lot, is like taking content from YouTube. So I'll explain what I mean here. So for example, you're making a short and you don't know anything about it. You would just go to YouTube and be like, how do I create engaging shorts? Essentially, the normal path would be you'd watch this video, see what this guy says, see if you can incorporate something. But what you can do is actually enhance your prompt here. So we have this base prompt, and it'll take down this video here, like fetch the transcript. And then I'll take all the insights from the video and then add them to your existing prompt. So the workflow I usually use is I take like, I don't know, maybe like the 5 top videos. And of course you want to vet the content that it's putting in here. But then once it does that, you just have a pretty solid prompt with like no work done. And you can do it in like, I don't know, a few minutes. So yeah, you can see more in depth of what happens here. So we have this base prompt and we can give it another prompt of like how we want to extract the insights from that video and add them to our current prompt. Obviously, you'd probably want to spend more time of like looking at what your prompt looks like here and giving it more specific guidance on how you want to extend this prompt. Here's a good example of where you'd want to fix the base prompt there, because AI tends to put in this fluff and you don't really want that in your prompt. Luckily, you can edit this out. So we have 3 views here. You have what you had originally, what it is now, and then the diff between the two. It's mainly the same, and just added more content and more examples or more description here. It looks like the bullet points are a little more beefy, so it looks like it just extended on the content. I mean, if you wanted to, you could go and upload like 100 of these videos and try and create the best prompt possible. Basically all possible public information on how to create a short. I think you get the gist though. I'm actually going to review this prompt, make sure it sounds good, and then I'm going to make it the default prompt for that new feature we added. Let's try and grill my short one more time. Nice. It's now 29 minutes after, and I'm going to be shipping a new tool to production.
We are seriously blocked right now by YouTube. Google gives you a quota for how much you can use YouTube's API. And right now my quota is at the base they give every new project, which is 10,000 units, which is like absolutely nothing. To put it in comparison, I added some feature where when a new user signs up, we'll like pull down all their videos and we'll find other channels that are in their niche. And just doing that with their API, we'll use like anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 units of their quota. I don't even know what to do at this point. You can submit an increase for the quota, which I've already done, and I've been waiting for a few days now. I asked to increase it from 10,000 to 1,000,000, which I still think's probably not enough, but it'll at least get us to a point where we can start like trying to market this more. I don't know, at this point, like I pretty much stopped doing like shorts and everything because I mean, none of them are probably gonna pop off, but in the off case one does, I could only onboard like 5 people before the site just completely turns into dog shit. So it's really not worth it at this point. I mean, maybe it's worth it to like build up a bank of shorts so and hopefully this gets approved, but when that happens, we could just post those. But yeah, I'm also kind of at a crossroads of what to do. Like, I don't know if I should still be creating features right now. Honestly, haven't been too motivated today. And then I think I've just been hit with imposter syndrome lately. Like, I've been looking more into competitors, and I mean, this space is pretty competitive, but I don't know. I mean, they've been building out these products for a couple years now, and they just have so many features. And it's not like I'm trying to just copy their features. Like, I think what my site's offering is unique. It's just I think it's just like a lot to take in. And I don't really know if it's a good thing. I was just looking at their stuff for pricing and then kind of just looking at their website again to see what features they actually offer. But I think what I'm getting at is it's going to be a long journey and you're going to have a lot of doubts along the way. Like, today's one of those days where you're just thinking like, oh, this is not going to work. But you just have to push through and, you know, keep getting better every day. Just to put it into perspective, like this day is probably more than usual, but I feel like at least once a day, like a doubt comes up of like, oh, like my product's not good enough, this idea is not gonna work. Just wanna say it's not uncommon if you're doing this to have these thoughts creep in, but I think you just gotta stay strong mentally